What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 51 of The Rise to Glory here with Gibraltar Apex. And today I have for you guys the Gibraltarian Senior League Cup semi-final against St. Joseph's. Before we get into that, there's been a load of games that have been played. We're going to go through them. You'll notice here it's the 15th of February, so there's been some transfers as well. So yeah, there's quite a lot to get through this episode. So I guess we'll start with the transfers. And actually, surprisingly large amount of players coming in and out of the club. So we'll start with the ins, and the first one here is Alex Savitsky, who is a player who we signed from the FFA Centre of Excellence, which I think is I know it's the Australian FA's team. They have this club. It's a team that's existed in FM for a while. I believe they've changed their name recently. I don't know what their old name was, but I signed players from them in the past, and if we just look at their facilities real quick, yeah, you can see superb training facilities, superb youth facilities, extensive youth recruitment. And so you can often get good regens there, especially if you're kind of in League One or a championship club. Definitely check out this team because they have some good little players. And yeah, Alex Savitsky was one of the players that we got here. Anyway, another transfer on the ends was Tristan Sargent. Returns to the club on a measly fee. I felt a little bit bad for this guy. Kind of a bit of a legend at the club. Left us at the end of last year. Hadn't found a new club. Didn't want him to retire. So out of purely selfish, sentimental reasons, I've offered him a club contract here so he won't retire. I just want him to keep playing forever, basically. So good to have him at the club. The next few players who have joined us as a result of us signing them from America and them now turning 18 and therefore being eligible to move to come and play for us. The first player here, Manuel Cruz, 18 years old, just a talented centre mid, good physicals, good speed, nice vision as well, good passing. I like this guy, looks like he could be a quite nice little defensive midfielder for us. Joins us, of course, on a free and is only 18 years old. The next player we have is a player who's going to be our first choice left back this year. Jay Marriott joins us from LA Galaxy. Very nice little fullback, 18 years old. Got a little bit of potential to potentially grow into. Things I really like about this guy, mostly his pace, and he also has some really nice mentals, which for an 18-year-old, I can't complain about at all. The next player, Alan Medina, another defender, another player who you'll probably see feature quite a little bit in our first team this year. 18 years old again, same mould of player, good determination. Actually, his determination isn't as good as some of the other players, but kind of good physicals, relatively good mentals, good technicals as well. Just a good, solid kind of squad player to have, and to bring him in on a free, really, really good stuff. We also signed a few African players this kind of winter transfer window. Of course, we did sign Lourenco II from Mozambique. I decided to go back and look at any free agents and kind of young talents at the kind of semi-larger African clubs, your Ghanas, your Cameroons, your South Africas, your Ivory Coast, just to see what was around, because you can pick up some quite nice regens. We got this guy, Nicholas Mohammed, in. Joins us on a free, actually. Was released by Hearts of Oak in Ghana. As you can see, last season for them, he had a really, really good year, and I actually found him playing in their under-21s. At 19 years old, though, really good player, good determination, okay physicals. The fact he's bow-footed is nice. He has a little bit of potential. He could become quite a good player for us, I think. I mean, you look at him, not too much to complain about and nothing too kind of bad about him. So kind of a nice free transfer, I guess, to get in. The next player, Barry O'Connor, I signed during the last live com. Just a good little centre-back for us to have. Adds a bit of depth on a pretty small wage of £850 a week. So nothing kind of risked there. The next transfer, Kundai Benyu, a player who, again, we looked at and I showed in the last episode after my scout found him, and I said he'd be quite a good little player for us. He joins us from Ipswich Town. We approached him on a pre-contract and he agreed to sign for us for £3,000 a week. We then agreed a fee with Ipswich Town of £105,000 to have him join immediately. So far at the club, 6 appearances, just the 1 assist in the league, but an 8.68 average rating. Absolutely incredible stats for him in centre mid. And last but not least, another African player. This guy we have is Lerato Malloy. He joins us as a South African player. He was released by Mamelodi Sundowns. I'll just call them Sundowns for the sake of this. But he's a good player. He plays regularly in the South Africa kind of international team, which is how I found him. We picked him up on a free transfer. You'll notice his value is really, really low. Originally, this guy didn't want to come to me. I kind of waited a little while. I offered him a trial, and he decided he did want to come on a trial to the club. And following that, I decided I wanted to sign him. Now, the big stumbling block was he wanted a foreign release clause of £500 put in his contract, which I kind of slightly regretfully agreed to. I mean, we might lose him immediately, but I think we paid something like £20,000 in agent fees, so it's a little bit of a risk bringing him in, I guess, in some ways, because we could lose him for £500. But he's a relatively cheap player, comes in, international experience, good player. I hope that in the summer we can agree a new contract with him, which will not have a release clause. And obviously then he can become a staple of my long team plans. But for now, he kind of comes in as a short-term player who I'm kind of excited to have, and I think he can make a difference in the squad, certainly this season, assuming we don't lose him kind of, prior to the end of the year. In terms of players on the outs, I mentioned we had a few, just two actually. The first one we'll talk about is Lubomir Satka. Perhaps a surprising player for some people to see me let this guy go. I ended up selling him for £10,000, which might seem like a really tiny fee. He of course joined us from Pompey on a free transfer in the summer. Played a few games for us, but I had lots of new centre-backs coming in, players like Malloy. Obviously we had a few of the younger Americans coming in. So I decided to let him go. We got £10,000 for him in the end, which I don't think is too bad of a fee. And yeah, good player, decent fee to get, and he allows some of our younger players with a little bit more potential and a little bit more kind of, I guess, of a place in the first team plans to kind of have a chance in the club. Anyway, the other transfer we sold was actually Robert Evans going to one of our affiliates, which is a little bit weird. He's gone to, is it Antalyaspor? We'll go with that. It sounds good, doesn't it? I apologise to my Turkish viewers. But yeah, we sold Robert Evans to them, the Northern Irish international. I offered this guy out to clubs for £250,000, thinking, you know, we might be lucky to get £100,000 for him, but we'll see what we can get. And they actually came in and met that valuation of him. Now, this guy, Robert Evans, not a bad player. We signed him from Manchester United, and he was on £3,800 a week for us, which, relative to a lot of our other players, was a pretty substantial amount. And I had players who were better than him on lower wages, so I kind of wanted to get rid of him. In the end, we managed to get £250,000 for him, which is a club record fee. It's a ludicrous bit of business to say he joined us on a free. He played, you know, a handful of games really. Yes, he played fairly regularly in the continental competitions, but outside of that, he didn't really shine too much. I was absolutely delighted to get £250,000 for him, and I do think in Kundai Benyu, we've got kind of an immediate replacement for him who is better and who joined us for just a fraction of the price and has significantly less wages. I mean, if we compare these guys, it's night and day between them. Kundai Benyu is just simply a better player, and to have him on lower wages join us for £100,000, I mean, the deal for Robert Evans was right to let him go, really. So that worked out quite nicely. I did talk about the transfers on the kind of ins, and there are a few here that, as you guys know, they've already been agreed. We did sign a few other players from the Centre of Excellence I do want to talk about. The first one here, Joel Marshall. Looks like a good player, this guy, 18 years old, centre attacking mid, absolutely incredible pace. Just a good player to get in on a free from the Australia Centre of Excellence. Played just a fair amount of football for them. Pretty good player. The other player we got from them was Paul Smith, and he was actually their key player. I don't know if he still will be. He is indeed. So we signed this guy, and I'm pretty excited about this guy. We have quite a lot of left mids, so I was a little bit tentative, I guess, to go for this guy initially. But I looked at him. He's 17 years old. His acceleration and pace, you know, they're not absolutely insane, but he has good stamina. Good natural fitness. His determination is very, very good for a player who's 17. Great teamwork, nice work rate, some good natural vision. None of his mentals are absolutely garbage. I guess the off the ball could be a little bit better, but he also has some nice technicals. And so to get this guy on a free, I was absolutely delighted about. And I do think he could be quite a good player for us down the line. Anyway, the other players who are joining here, they're all kind of different American players who we've talked about before. I was keeping track kind of tabs on them. Two players who seem to have kind of developed the best. Sean Jackson looks like he's done a pretty good job at Albertson. You can see here, not played that many games for them this calendar year yet, but last calendar year got 18 goals in 34 games and a 7.51 average rating, so he's looking quite good. And also Joe Bouchard, looking pretty nice, this guy, developing a little bit, joins us in the summer from the TFC Academy, which I believe is Toronto Football Club. And yeah, you can see he's not necessarily had the best seasons here, but he has improved a little bit since we last saw him. And he's playing regular international football. And this guy, I like the look of. In fact, I like the look of both him and Sean Jackson, if I'm honest. And yeah, excited to get them in the summer along with a few of our other players. So that's what's been going on there. In terms of the results, there's been a fair few to go through here. I'm not going to go through these in too much detail because they're kind of arbitrary at this point. But we beat Britannia 6-0. We then beat Glasgow United 5-2, conceding 2 goals in that game, which prior to that game we'd only conceded 1 goal in the first however many games of the year. So that was a little bit disappointing. Lorenko grabbing 2 and Juanma grabbing 2 as well there. We then beat Gibraltar Lions 3-0, St Joseph's 6-1, Kuka getting 4 this game, a 9.8 average rating in this match for him. Absolutely insane. The next performance, we really stepped things up again. This time it was against Manchester 62 FC. Wanmat grabbing 4, Leon O'Connor grabbing 2 as well, which was quite nice because Leon is one of the players who, he generated at the club. He's been a very good Gibraltarian player for us. But this year, with obviously us going pro and a lot of our new players coming in, he's kind of found himself on the fringe of things. So for him to come into this game and get 2 was really, really pleasing. The next result against Lynx, 6-0, so 15 goals scored in back-to-back away games kind of combined. Really good performance there. We then beat Hound Dogs 5-1, Danny Evans grabbing 2, Wanma grabbing 2 and Angeles grabbing 1. Angeles has definitely improved his kind of, his discipline of late. You can see he's only got 4 yellow cards in 14 league games as opposed to the 6 yellow cards and 1 red card he got in 6 continental games. So I'm pleased that he's kind of cooling things down a little bit, I guess you could say. And then the last result in this run of results was against Europa Point, a team who we played in the last live com. Rotated the team a little bit for this game, brought in a few of our Gibraltarian players. Peachman in the end grabbing 2 goals, an 8.8 rating for him in this game. And despite the fact he's not playing too much this year, he still put in a pretty good shift in that game. So anyway, as I mentioned, today we take on St Joseph's in the Senior League Cup semi-final. Hopefully we can get a good result here and get to another final. St Joseph's really been one of our big rivals in this save. However, last year they tailed off and finished 5th. This year they're struggling again. Looks like they're going to finish 5th and outside Europe for a 2nd season in a row, which is going to be a little bit concerning for them. Just looking at the league table real quick, you can see Gibraltar Lions comfortably in 2nd now with a little bit of a cushion. We have a massive cushion over them, of course. We are still unbeaten at the moment. I don't want to utter the words too soon because last year we won all but 1 game. I think it was 26 wins and 1 loss. At the moment, 16 wins and 1 draw, 10 games left. Maybe we can do it this year. Here's hoping. And behind Gibraltar Lions, you can see Hound Dogs, College Europa and St Joseph's, and I guess Lynx as well, all really fighting for that 3rd spot. Going to be incredibly competitive for that position, and it'll be interesting to see how that kind of pans out towards the end of the year. Right, so that's the results. That's the league table. We've covered transfers. In terms of the squad news, there's been quite a few injuries actually. We've got both first choice goalkeepers out injured. Alberto Romero is out for 7 days to 2 weeks with a lower back stress fracture, which has been a big miss for him. We also had Juan Manuel Perez, who of course we signed in the summer, who as a second choice goalkeeper also get injured. As a result of that, the 3rd striker we signed over the summer, Carl Ignacio, has come into the squad. He's only played a few games for us. He's done okay, to be fair, considering what we brought him in for. And he is going to be in goal for today's game as a result of the various injuries we have. Of course, as I mentioned, we've signed a lot of new players. Looking through the side, you can see that our bench is significantly stronger now that we do have kind of, pretty much 16 players there or thereabouts who are foreign imports but who can definitely perform. And it leaves us in quite a nice situation for games like this. You'll notice at the moment I am using the Waitakere 4-2-3-1 as opposed to our normal 4-4-2. A few kind of, I guess, reasons behind this. First and foremost, we have quite a lot of midfielders performing quite well at the moment. The other reason is that with Ben Connolly injured, really our only 2 strikers fit are Kuka and Wanma. And it's quite nice just to have those 2 rotating. And it also, in this shape, facilitates for our slightly inflated midfield. So anyway, this is the team we're going to use for today's game. I think we're going to go with Gary, Benyu in midfield. Braun at centre attacking mid. I'm going to bring in Mohamed, I think. I like Mohamed in this position. Nicholas Mohamed, of course, he is the Ghanaian we signed. He's actually kind of developed quite a lot already just playing regular first team football. And I think that it's really going to benefit his development if we keep playing him. He is only 19. It's worth noting his contract does run out at the end of this year. I'm really hopeful that he will agree and want to sign a new deal with us because he's developed well so far. And obviously playing him in games like this is only going to make him more and more happy. But yeah, this is the team we're going to go with. Angeles, Lorenko, Wanma, Mohamed, Benyu, Gary. The back 4, fairly standard. Obviously Marriott at left back, a new addition to the squad. Definitely keep an eye out on him. And also Medina, number 27, another new centre back. Hopefully they can put in a good performance today. And yeah, it is going to be the Senior League Cup semi-final that of course we are taking on St Joseph's in today. A competition which we have a bit of a mixed history, and there's been a few times where we've choked in the finals, and I'm hoping we're not going to do that again here. I'm kind of sick of doing that. It feels like whenever I do a live comment in these cup competitions after Christmas, they just go horribly, horribly wrong. So we'll have to see how we get on here. You can see Hassan Mohammed has reported on a fitness test of our team. You can see a few players obviously injured. Bit of a concern. But yeah, I think going into this game, we should be winning. We know we should be winning. I feel like this 4-2-3-1, it's a little bit more attacking than our 4-4-2, and it's perhaps served us a little bit better in these games where we really want to, I guess, go at the opposition. And I'm hoping that we're going to see a really good attacking display from us here. We've got some great talent in the final third. I want to see them kind of make the most of the chances they have. Of course, a few new names to keep an eye out on. I mentioned Medina and Marriott at the back. Also keep an eye out on Kundai Benyu, who will be playing in centre mid alongside Gary, but also Nicholas Mohammed, the centre attacking mid. A few new players, be interesting to see if you guys can notice them making much of a difference. Mohammed is number 30 and Benyu is number 6. So yeah, excited to get this game underway. Hopefully we can have a good performance. I'm just going to make sure the goal highlights are turned on. They are indeed good stuff. Looking at the stats early on in this game, well, after 17 minutes we've had 9 shots. It's not too bad a going, but we do need goals here, and actually 22 minutes gone. Perhaps slightly worryingly, we are yet to have our first clear-cut chance of the game. Although I say that, and now we have one. Lorenko whips it in back post. Marriott is there for the goal. I mentioned keep an eye out for Jay Marriott, the left-back. I was expecting him to kind of be the ghost of Glenn Stewart, I guess, at left-back. Is it? No, it's not Glenn. Why am I saying Glenn Stewart? Glenn Gilbert. Glenn Stewart was a regen on our FC United of Manchester save. Where did that come from in the crevice of my brain? I don't know. But yeah, Marriott, keep an eye on him. He's going to be the ghost of Glenn Gilbert at left back. A reason I said that was thinking he was going to whip in a load of balls into the box and get a lot of assists. Not necessarily score, but not that that's a bad thing. We might have another chance here. Lorenko, lovely run by the right winger. Inside, Wanma just lays the ball off to him. His 12th goal of the season, Lorenko. Not too shabby for a right midfielder. And that was a nice goal. Mohammed involved in the build-up. Wanma, delightful ball through the back. A failed offside trap. And then, well, Lorenko just leaves the keeper for dead. The keeper, questionable positioning. Lorenko with some nice dribbling just to knock the ball around him and kind of sell the keeper into committing for a save. And well, the whole goal was at his mercy then. And it does look like at half-time here, it's going to be 2-0. A really good performance so far this game. Going to tell the players, the media have been giving them a lot of credit. Give the display that the media have been bigging you up to be able to perform. And actually, what a kickoff there. Mohammed tackles immediately. Can we score straight from kickoff? I believe. Putnam, whip it in. Ball in. Oh, I really thought we were actually going to score from the point in this highlight there. Just for a second. Anyway, looking at the stats, St. Joseph's yet to have a shot on target. I guess that's not a bad stat to have in our favour. We've also had 24 shots. I guess the fact we've only scored 2 is a little bit of cause for concern, but at the same time, it doesn't look like we're going to be losing this game, and we are bringing the ball forward here. Angeles whips it in. No one in the box there. Perez going to collect the ball. And I think it's fair to say that we perhaps sometimes lack men in the box with our 4-2-3-1, although I say that, we're going forward again with the ball, but we do give it away immediately. We do want to stay defensively firm, and actually Watson bringing the ball forward, and well, St. Joseph's, they're going to FM us. First shot on target of the game for them. They've hit us on the break. I mean, I guess St. Joseph's have defended well from the perspective of they've only conceded 2. But at the same time, 2-1, I mean, that's annoying. That's annoying. That's the only way I can say it. I mean, looking at the stats, looking at how the team's performed, I'm not too concerned about St. Joseph's coming back in this game. But at the same time, this is a game we've dominated. We should be creating a lot more from this game. Maybe we can do so here. Wanma dribbling the ball forward, hits it from range, goes over the crossbar. I think I'm going to switch to our 4-4-2. I think we're going to do it. We've got kind of the players to do that. I'm going to just do a few simple swaps. Mohammed, I'm going to take off. I think we're going to bring in Kuka. Elsewhere, I think I'm going to bring on Bron for Angeles or Angeles. I've still not decided how I want to say his name. I'm going to go with Angeles. I'm sorry if that's wrong, because these videos are recorded in advance and I have no idea. Well, I have a pretty good idea. Some people are going to know how to actually say his name and are going to write it in the comments. I'm going with Angeles. That is now his name. Whether you like it or not, whether it's correct or not, I don't care. But anyway, we're going forward with the ball here. Putnam, can he whip in the ball? He can. Wanma, back post. Lorenko with the goal. I think it's an own goal. I think it's going to be... Oh, okay, no, it has been given to Gimo Lourenco II, the Mozambican, getting his second goal of the game. Not too bad for a right winger, a scrappy goal. Back post, he has an initial effort. Perez saves it, but then he comes in and... I mean, I think he kicks it at the post, it then hits the defender and goes in. The game has given it to Lourenco, so I guess I can't argue with that. But questionable. And actually, we have a great chance there. Medina with a header, the young American who's making his kind of live com debut today, but it was saved away by Perez. Might have another chance here, however. But anyway, we're bringing the ball again forward here. Hopefully we can get another goal. 3-1. It'd be a satisfactory result, but I wouldn't necessarily be delighted with it. And actually, Lourenco giving away a free kick there. For a second, I thought he was about to win a penalty, which he'd get to take. Unfortunately, however, not done that. Kuka, can you do anything? Gary, big ball over the top, intercepted, but Kuka again. Tackled this time by Bishop. Clinton forward to Watson. Evans with the tackle. Goes to Bishop. Now with Clinton in the centre of midfield. I don't want to concede now. I really don't want to concede another. We conceded one against the runner play. Let's make that the last. Wanma bringing forward the ball. Holds up the ball nicely. Benyu, Gary, out wide with Putnam. Can he whip in a ball? This is his kind of area on the pitch. He does. Wanma back post. Beautiful ball in by Putnam. Wanma with his 22nd goal of the game. And I think that goal was all about the cross, if I'm honest. Putnam, absolutely insane ball in from deep. Worth noting, he is becoming a bit of a fan favourite at the right back. He is now a kind of a club favourite personnel. The fans have definitely got on board with the English right back, and, well, who can blame them really? He gets so many assists and gets so many kind of vital passes through to our attackers, and it's another nice goal there. Wanma now turned assister. Kuka with his 20th goal of the game. 20th goal of the game. That would be an achievement. 20th goal of the season. And at 5-1... you'd have to say we're deserving of our lead. It's a little bit disappointing that we conceded to make it 2-1 and made me a little bit nervous and perhaps made this a little bit less comfortable a viewing than it otherwise could have been. But at the end of the day, we've stepped up here. Lourenco going to whip in the ball. Kuka back post. Can he score again? He can't this time. Ball goes wide. It is going to finish here 5-1 against St. Joseph's. A really kind of convincing performance. Disappointing perhaps that we couldn't kind of keep the clean sheets. That's something that I really want us to kind of strive towards. But at the same time, it was a dominant display. The result was never really in doubt. And, well, good to see Lourenco, our right midfielder, grab 2. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up this episode from me. In terms of when we'll be back for the next episode, I think it's going to be kind of an end-of-season kind of cup final special again. The league table's all but wrapped up. If it starts getting a little bit nervous, I might come back for the Gibraltar Lions game. Either way, you guys will have to stick around to find out. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. As always, if you have, smash the like button. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.